I feel like because of the nature of the way your life is structured, you homeschool your kids, you and your family, you call yourself a Velcro family. You guys do everything together.
Yeah, we do.
Whereas like it just goes to show you that you could be around
Yeah.
and then try to leave, and then it's still a hard transition. Or someone like Cody with a partner also who travels quite a bit, and still the kids still express, I want you here.
It's literally bedtime. Like it's 8 o'clock and his bedtime is 8. And he's like, well, why are you leaving? And it's like, bruh, you're not even going to be awake in 5 minutes.
What's up, y'all? It's Ashley.
I'm Fee.
It's Melody.
And Cody here. And you've tapped into
The Mama's Den.
Welcome to the Mama's Den family. Mamas. Oh, y'all laughing?
Yeah.
At me?
Yep.
What'd I do?
I don't know what's funny.
Right?
I don't
Welcome to the Mama's Den.
I'm welcoming our guests in audio and video form. And seeing how y'all are doing.
Wait, what is happening?
Got the giggles.
That's your professional voice. That's cute for you.
That's my professional. What is my regular voice?
A professional.
Okay.
No, that's her actress voice.
Oh, you do have a professional.
You go in and out of actress voices.
You do.
For sure.
Okay.
I love this,
She's
though.
multifaceted. She's a producer.
We see you,
She's a
friend.
writer. She's an actress. She's a pageant girl.
Oh, Lord.
She's a
One pageant,
Baby,
maybe two.
AKA.
Maybe two, my whole life.
She's a debutante.
That. Anywho, what's new? I know we talk like all the time.
I just came off a plane.
Yeah.
Where'd you come from, Mel?
I was here
in Chi-
performing.
I was in Chicago
Fill
and
the
Miami.
people in.
It was lots of traveling.
Where was your mama?
My mama was in Chicago. It was her birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday, mama. Yeah, she came out. I flew her out for her and my dad because it's really interesting. I'm realizing that I've done a lot of stuff in my life, but because a lot of it is abroad from home, my parents don't actually get to participate in a lot of the stuff that I do.
Yep.
So I always try to make sure that when they can be there, they will. And so it was my mom's birthday, so I flew them out for her birthday, and then they stayed. They got in earlier before me. They stayed a few days after. So they had like a nice weekend in Chicago. I'm so happy because my mom was just saying, this is one of my best birthdays like ever. She was so happy. She just was like walking around, going to a city she had never been before. I never knew. My mom didn't even go to Chicago. It was crazy.
Get popcorn.
Garrett's Popcorn. You already know.
Yes.
Chicago mix.
I love so
We
much.
was in here.
Gotta get the Chicago mix.
Gotta get the Chicago
I'm
mix.
glad you stopped in Miami because otherwise I'd be like, where's my popcorn?
Yes, Miami. Well, actually,
Because I love
Actually,
Garrett's.
Miami came first.
You brought Melanie. I love
you know what?
Garrett's.
Please forgive me I'm gonna tell you why it didn't happen because my flight was at dawn. Like I was at the airport at
couldn't
5
have got it
They
the day
have
before?
Garrett's at the airport.
That's why I couldn't get it. It wasn't open.
okay.
It wasn't open when I got there. But I was like, I should bring Garrett's back for the girls. Jared loves Garrett's. When I got there, I was like, ooh, it's
Doesn't
closed.
sound too intentional. Could have got it the day before.
You want to carry the stuff for me?
Nope.
Okay.
Doesn't it get a little stale?
no.
popcorn.
No. It lasts. Garrett's.
I'm gonna put it
Wait
in
a
the air
minute,
fryer.
have you
I
ever
would've
had
put it in the air
Garrett's?
fryer, girl.
Popcorn in the air
Have you ever had
No, I'm
Garrett's,
kidding.
Felicia?
Yes, I have.
Girl, it don't get stale quick.
Are you sure?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Garrett's is fresh.
Designed for life.
We love it. Hi,
Yeah, but
Garrett's.
after like days,
Sponsor us.
Right,
I
we've
like
been
my
talking
popcorn
Garrett's.
hot and crunchy.
What are you talking about?
Popcorn? What
Yes,
did she
but
say?
we're talking about like flavored popcorn, like the
Yes, but
cheese
I was
one.
talking-
When have you ever had hot cheese popcorn?
Well, like when it's fresh popcorn at the movie theaters, it's typically
But
like
that's
a
not like
little bit
cheesy
warm.
or caramel popcorn. That's what we talking about. We're not talking about just regular popcorn with butter.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I'm saying that heated up too. Popcorn in general.
You're weird.
No,
You like warm popcorn.
I love warm popcorn. I love warm popcorn. Yes.
warm
That's why I was
caramel
like, ooh, I
popcorn.
would want
Warm-
not like melting, but definitely like with a little
See.
With some salt.
yeah.
Do you be putting seasonings on
Not
your
on
popcorn?
Chicago style.
Right. Chicago mix. We gotta separate the two because
confused.
when she's trying to do stuff to the Chicago mix, it is stressing me out.
Me too.
But I like seasonings on other popcorn.
Yeah, and I like hot regular popcorn, but Garrett's is just not hot. It's cold. It's cheese and caramel mixed together, and it's never
And
been
it's
hot.
delicious.
And that's very odd if you've ever
But
had
all
it
of
It's
hot.
not
that to
never
say,
hot. If you get
I
it
didn't
there.
bring it.
Oh, yeah, it's
You-
warm.
So that's
We're trying
what
to
I'm
forget
talking
that
about.
Okay, my
Now I
bad.
missed That part.
Oopsie.
Whew,
It's true. If you're there, it's they have like a thing and they're making it and they give it
It's
to you.
typically
Or
like
they
in a
can't give it to you.
warmer.
Okay, bougie. I
And
didn't know
get
you
like
wanted
a
your
stew, like that. That's what I mean.
You
Okay,
know
my
what?
bad.
This went on
Way too long.
exceptionally long. Unnecessarily.
We just needed it. You know what I mean?
We did, we
need
did,
to have
we
a fight
did.
about popcorn right quick.
We did. We've been moving and shaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm good. I'm just very tired.
Yeah.
Me
Very
too.
tired.
Are you
friend.
like thriving, traveling, performing, or?
Oh,
are
I'm
you-
thriving. I'm killing it.
Yes.
I am very proud of myself.
Yes.
I am handling things well. I'm organized. I don't feel stressed.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's good.
I feel like the beginning of this year started off so uncertain for me that I worked really hard to set up certain securities for myself so that when this season arrived, I could move freely. And I feel very good about it. And so, yeah, I feel good. I feel like everyone around me is showing up really solid. It's good. I feel good.
Does any mom guilt ever creep in because you're gone?
Yes, but I will be honest to say that not in this season. Not in this season. No, I've definitely carried the guilt for many years. I shared this on a recent episode that, I had to miss Cam's first day of school because of stuff, and always thinking about like, oh, I'm not there. And now Kaya's here, and it's like, oh, I have a daughter, and she asks and she misses us. And also too, Jared and I have been traveling quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I think about how my kids are emotionally processing not having both of their parents around as often as they normally do. But for me personally, no. I have like literally made a decision that the guilt is something that I'm creating for myself. My children have never looked at me and been like, Mommy, don't go. Mommy, why do you go all the time? Like they don't. Like I think at this point, even Kaya, and at 2 years old, she understands Mommy goes and she comes back. Cameron knows I go and I come back. And so I think giving myself the permission to not project where I feel like I'm falling short, but I'm not falling short because I'm doing what I have to do.
Girl, when I feel mom guilt is like this. It's like just supposed to have a weight on your chest, an unnecessary weight that we didn't even, ask to put on us. But I really feel like becoming a co-parent, again, I'm like, there's lots of blessing in co-parenting, the right way. I definitely feel like I felt mom guilt for not even having my kids for that week. I was like, oh my God, I was sick.
I remember.
was literally,
Yeah, you were
sick.
crying.
You know what's so funny? I saw a girlfriend of mine in Chicago who is literally doing co-parenting.
Yeah.
Like it's like 2 days on, 2 days off because her ex lives close by. And she listens to the podcast and she was like, oh my God, she's like, I love Felicia. Like, I understand what she's doing. And she goes, I really like the alone time I get, right? And I was like, and she was like, does Felicia feel the same? And I was like, well, when she first started, I remember she would come in and be like, guys, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm by myself. Like, I don't know. I miss my kids. Like, I don't know if I know who I am without my kids around. And cut to now, you come in here, baby, like, baby, I got this done, this done, this done. Them kids are coming
Hair
back.
done,
it's
nail
golden,
done.
smiling,
Yes.
Profiling.
No, but
Yeah,
it's
it's true.
the journey, like we've seen it. It's really, really
Girl.
beautiful.
And I think also with work, when I was doing makeup and traveling so much, I felt super guilty leaving Peace. But I was like, but I also have to do what I have to do. But then I got to a point, now that the kids are older, I was going to ask you guys about this when mom guilt comes up. Do you ever ask Cam? That's been my saving grace, is I literally will ask. I just had a check-in with them last week. I'm like, how are you guys feeling about mommy and daddy still living in separate houses?
Right.
And they were like, what are you talking about? We love it. It doesn't even cross their mind.
That's
But
good.
sometimes I need to make sure I tap in with them to make you know what I mean? Because the whole goal is like, okay, mommy and daddy want to be happy, but y'all got to be happy. If y'all aren't happy or y'all are not healthy, then how do we can't even function. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I think that's responsible though. Like I think
Yeah.
that's our job to check in with our kids.
Yeah,
like
for
'cause
sure.
we don't know. But I have a question
They'll
to ask
tell you.
everybody because now we all have multiples. Do you feel like your mom guilt has lessened the more children you've had, or is it like was that first baby the one
No.
that really made you feel guilty?
No.
That first one was for me.
You
It
still
has
have
not
guilt?
lessened. Yeah.
You still have guilt.
I not only have, so multiple things are happening. Number one, Brooks is constantly like, why are you guys leaving again? But I have to desensitize myself too because he says it every day.
Right. He's like,
But it's
when you
still-
go into the bathroom, why are you going
It
again?
still like kind of sucks.
Right.
But
What
he
do you
definitely,
tell him?
Any number, the truth, whatever that is, right? Like, because we have to do this work. Because literally this weekend we went to a school event. So we're trying to, be a part of the community because that's very important at the school, He's like, but why? But why do you have to
He
go?
didn't go?
And
Do you
he's
break it
always-
down,
was a
like,
parent-
again for
It was
him?
like a fundraiser.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
he's like, again? It's very dramatic,
Yeah.
said with love.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's frequent.
Yeah.
And then I would say having 3 of them doesn't make me feel less guilty because I just feel like if I'm not having one-on-one time with them, which I don't get often, or if I'm not having 1-on-2, i.e. Aristotle and Langston, or what if I'm not doing very intentional things with them, then I should be. So that the guilt that I have is like, okay, now I'm just with these two. I need to spend some time with Brooks. Okay, now I'm just doing this thing with him. I need to spend time with them. Now I'm trying to survive, and I'm sitting in the car because I haven't heard half of Beyonce's album because I'm never alone. So I'm sitting in the car for 20 minutes when I know they're inside.
Yeah.
They know I'm outside. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel,
Do you have designated days?
To what?
Like to just like
Right.
take the plug and go shoot. Everybody, I'm not talking to anybody. I love everybody, but right now it's about me. Like if it's a day to do that, and then another day, do you have designated days also for the kids? Like
we don't
Brooks,
have a
you
lot
get-
of routines.
Yeah, I feel like you might need a routine.
Yeah,
for
that's
that,
what I was
like
gonna
on
say.
some
Yeah,
parts.
I agree.
That was
Yeah.
right next. I was about to go into my therapy pack. I was about to be like, all right, so let's unpack why this theme of guilt.
go.
Look at her, I'm like this. I'm
But
like,
I also have guilt too. I feel the same way that Cody feels. I have 4 kids, and I think that sometimes maybe the more kids you have, the more guilt you have, especially because you know what kind of parent you were to one child. You know what that experience is like, and then you're trying to duplicate it with your other children, and so you begin to feel increasingly more guilty because you know that you're not giving each of those children the time that they deserve. And then it's weird because Asia does the same thing Brooks does. She makes me feel so bad when I leave. She starts crying.
Girl.
She's like, why are you leaving me? Please don't leave me. And that's because they're so used to them being with me all the time.
Well, this was what I was gonna say. Is like, I feel like because of the nature of the way your life is structured, you homeschool your kids, you and your family, you call yourself a Velcro family. You guys do everything together.
Yeah, we do.
Whereas, like, it just goes to show you that you could be around
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then try to leave, and then it's still a hard transition. Or someone like Cody with a partner also who travels quite a bit,
Yeah.
and still the kids still express, I want you here.
It's
Yeah.
literally bedtime. Like it's 8:00 and his bedtime is 8. And he's like, "But why are you leaving?" And it's like, "Bro, you're not even going to be awake in
Wait,
5
right.
minutes." Like,
that's
what are we
also
talking
why
about?
that's also why I really enjoy like focused parenting. Like when I'm parenting, let's say I'm just parenting. So when I tell y'all the way that my brain works is so wild. I've been telling myself like, okay, I also have to grow with my children.
Yeah.
And I have to also help guide them to grow. So how am I going to do 2 things at one time? My thing is always like, how do I maximize the opportunity? So hiking, like Peason's in hiking, they're learning to breathe deeper. They're learning not to give up. They're learning, you can slow down, but don't stop. So I'm like giving them bars as we're doing it. But then I'm also reminding myself. So I'm like, all right, that's a focused parenting moment that I can pour in, and then they'll do individual. So sometimes, Zen the other day, Peace was in the house of my mom. So I'll even call my mom like, hey, I need you to come help so I can do 1 at a time. We go to the park next door. We're throwing the football back and forth. He's like, yeah. Like acting like and I was like, oh, you feeling yourself, huh? I was like, are you happy? He's like, yeah, I'm happy. But I also needed to make sure that I did that so that he could also feel seen. I feel like so many times, like Amira probably feels like, damn, does my mom, not saying that we don't see them, but I do feel like it's not the same. You know how it was when it was just her, but it's like, but I can't be that version of me no more.
Right, but I
know?
have always, the one thing that I could say that I'm really grateful for Chia is that I always spend individual time with my children. That's just a given throughout the day. Like I intentionally just like pull one aside, and I'll be like, this is gross, but I have psoriasis in my ear. So Azara's thing is she comes in my room as soon as I wake up with the little ear thing. She's like, Mom, let me clean your ear. And she scrapes all my dry skin out, and then she puts
little
medication on my ear. But I know that is her special time with me because she's the only one that wants to do that. I don't know why, but she just likes being with me. So like that's what we do. Tatash is good because she sleeps in a bed with me and Chia, so she's great.
Everybody getting fed.
She goes to the bathroom with me. She sleeps with me, so she gets all the time with me. And then with Amira, our time is usually like I pick her up from theater. We sit and talk, pick her up from school. Chia takes her to school, so that's their time together. So we've always really been good at having individual time with our children and just being really intentional with them like that, especially when I homeschool them. Like I'll have one read a book and then I'm focusing with the other one. And I think I just learned that from my mom because she was a single parent that had 4 kids, but she always showed up for us and always gave us that attention. So a lot of that I learned from my mother.
I think something that might be helpful too, Cody, with you, that I feel has helped me is I recognize that I'm no good if I'm splintered doing multiple things at once. And so for me, I find that I enjoy being a parent when I know that that's all I'm doing in that moment. Because Jared was out of town and I just had the kids, and I realized that like I had so much going on. Like I was traveling right up until spring break came, and then I came home, and then there's no co-parent there, and I'm like, oh, okay, wait a second. I'm like, I gotta be here. I don't actually have time to be on my phone, taking a call, going to a meeting. This is my week. These are my days. And I actually enjoyed like being there, and I didn't feel as stressed because I realized that like if I just have one task to be focused on, whatever that is, and I think that that's what traveling has allowed me to do. When I'm gone, there is nothing I can do about what's going on at home, right? I've trusted that I've left everybody in place. They're with their dad, they're with our nanny and our support or our family. Like there's nothing that I can do. Even though I told Ashley, Cameron had his dad in the room yesterday and still text messaged me about how to do his homework. And I was like, bro, your dad is there. Like, I cannot tell you about how to ask 10 friends at school about their statistics. I don't know. But, you know, like even today, just getting back and off the plane, like I know that when I go home, it's going to be after 5. And so I'm not doing any work for the rest of the evening.
Yeah.
I've already committed to saying like, I'm just gonna be with my kids if they wanna go outside.
Yeah.
And I think that that's sometimes we feel so connected to our phones, our emails, all these things on demand, like, you know, what it is. So maybe just understanding that you can only do one thing at a time and be one thing at a time.
You're a business owner too, Cody.
Wait, she has a thought.
No, go for it.
I was gonna say, I think that's really, really, I hear what you're saying, but you also have to, let's just be real, you have to make sure everybody under these roofs are taken care of, that everybody's getting paid, that everything is, like the lights stay on. That is a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure. And I think that when we do that and we're moms, the idea of clocking out at 5 p.m. is just like, overwhelming. But I had to force myself to do that because I was like, no, I refuse. Whatever I can get done 5 p.m., but I pick up my kids at 4:45, 5 p.m., I'm not picking up that phone. If I'm saying I'm going to go visit my mom for 3 days, it's like these are my windows like that I'm working because life moves too fast. And I'm like, I don't want to miss any more moments that I've already missed by not being present or tripping off of things that aren't important, you know? But I feel like being a business owner might definitely be spilling over, Fran.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But
For
that
sure.
it's just it's like a pressure cooker, right? Because it's like constant thinking about other people.
Constant.
Yeah.
It's constantly
Like
thinking about other people.
like literally all the people.
Yes.
In all the places.
In all the places.
And then like, oh, should I go for a walk to have a clear mind?
Yes.
Well, no, because I have to make sure the kids are good, or I have to get up an hour earlier, or whatever the thing is.
That's might be
I
what
know,
it
but
means.
I just can we after this can we sit down and
Yes.
map out my
100%.
day?
Yes.
100%.
No,
Well,
because
you know, your biggest struggle has always been boundaries. And I think that you and Chia are very similar in that way, where he just doesn't have the spirit of no, and he feels obligated to his business. And, you know, when you're running a business, like they said, all of these things. But one of the things I had to tell Chia is I was like, especially when he worked in the music industry, you notice how people give you time frames to call them? Like people, I think sometimes we feel like we are not important enough, or we're not allowed to have those same level of boundaries. But yes, we are, and yes, you can. And guess what? Magically, they'll just call you the next day.
They will literally adhere to whatever you say is my flow. And that I see that with Jared too, like being in the music industry. And again, like I also have to recognize that Jared and I, although we're both in the music industry together, we're in different areas and we're in it at different times. Like in my, mid-20s, early 30s, that's when I was running ragged. Like it was yes to everything. It was no kids, just traveling, living my best life, going for it, achieving all the highest levels of success I could. And, and then also losing my mind and my voice and compromising my health and then realizing that's not sustainable.
Right.
You can't do that if you want to keep going.
Yeah.
And so.
Oh, that you said it. I just told a client this the other day. I'm like, you literally have to create boundaries to get where you're going. It's like you're trying to move through a crowd of people and there's nowhere for you to walk.
created
You
the
ain't
path.
going nowhere fast.
No.
Like,
Nowhere.
no, you got to put the little borders up, stay, and if you try to jump over that fence, security gonna get you.
Right.
This might be a good idea for you, because this might be helpful to other people who run their own business and have children and have to come home and still clock back in. What I think might be helpful is if you just let your company know that from, 5 to 7, I am not available. Then if you have to clock back in, right? You know what I mean? If you have to clock back in, you're like, okay, I'm going to answer it. But if you just designate 2 hours when you get home for you to just be a mom, to just sit and have dinner with your
Or for
family.
you to go for your walk.
Or
Or
you and Tommy
delegate.
come together and find a time that works for the both of you, where both of you are
Delegate.
clocked out together. And you're like, no, we're going home. We're not talking about Black love. We're not talking about nothing except for Brooks' science project, the twins, what they're doing for 2 hours. And then fine, you could clock back in.
So I'm not trying to find like poke holes. I'm really not.
okay.
Right?
No,
'Cause
I think you should
want-
flush it out.
Yeah.
Let it out.
I feel like what I agree that I need boundaries and to set boundaries and routines, both for myself and for them. I think that where it gets difficult for me is that it just feels like the demands are very high and high stakes in every direction. Because it's not just don't call me from this time to this time.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like don't call me from this time to this time because I have to do work to make sure everybody's good, or I have to do bedtime to make sure the kids are good, or whatever it is. And so I just frankly it's all too much.
Yeah.
Without there being a clear path to lessen it. But creating boundaries, creating time to walk, to meditate, whatever. Like those are the things I need to force into existence.
Sure. Yeah.
And it just feels so hard because it's like where,
Yeah.
but
The
where?
craziest
Because you
thing
don't want to
is
wake up at 4 a.m. That's crazy.
No.
it's really interesting that we don't give ourselves permission to like be proactive about our well-being until it's truly at risk and in question.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing with our health. We take our health for granted every single day. It is the greatest gift that we have. Literally, somebody come today and tell you, hey, you don't sleep tonight, you're not gonna wake up tomorrow morning. You are going to sleep. And it's just like, I don't know why we want to learn the hard way as humans. Like we just feel like we just
want to.
We're risky.
We
We're
just
risky.
push. We just push and push and push when we
Yeah.
can be proactive and we can say no and we can say yes to the things that we want to. I think that this world that we live in, I mean, we talk about this even in motherhood, like the structure of how hard it is and the support systems that we don't have, that are not provided for us, that we have to advocate for ourselves for. This is all a part of it.
Well, I look at the fact that I was looking at my post on Instagram and that I posted about how I finally got a nanny. And the amount of responses to that is kind of crazy because I really was thinking about it a lot. Like, we have thoughts, right? And I really did feel superior to everyone else because I was doing it without help. And so even if not other people don't feel superior, there is something inside of you. It's like, I don't know if Cody might have it a little bit too. You kind of like, I don't know if it's a part of it's ego. It's definitely ego. It's like, I can do this though. You don't want to feel defeated by your life. You know what I mean? So you keep on going at it and you keep trying to figure it out and you keep trying to tackle it because you just you can do it. Like your mind is like, I can figure this out and I can do it. But for me, it was definitely ego driven. I was like, my mom did it. She didn't have no help. And my mom could raise 4 kids with no help. I definitely could raise 4 kids with a husband. Like, and truthfully, if I didn't want to have a career, I would not have a nanny. Like, the reason why I have a nanny is because she watches the baby while I'm homeschooling. It's not like I'm just out here kicking. I'm still working from home. It's just that if they were all the same age, I probably still wouldn't have a nanny, if I'm being honest, because it's just she's not really in school, so it takes away from the focus of the other two focusing. But either way, I had to come to this conclusion that I'm not my mom. Number one. And number two, I'm not superior to anyone else because I guess I need help too, just like everybody else. And I've been needing help. I just didn't want to admit it.
Life will humble you.
Yes, it will. But
Life
I
will
caught
put you
Felicia
in-
and I told her.
Yeah,
I was
life
like,
will humble you.
now
That's
I
what-
get it.
I was gonna say, for Cody, in terms of the way that I think about it now, and I don't know, I feel like this way of thinking and the way of moving has been very new, like to this year. I feel like the person that I've been working towards for so long has like arrived. And I thought to myself, because I didn't really like to ask for help like that, but I thought to myself, God forbid, something happens to me tomorrow, this whole, like where I was at, I was like, this whole shit would just fall to the ground. So I'm like, I have to build up and make, strategic moves so that if that is, because it's gonna happen at one day, everything that we built doesn't fall, but that means I had to get more support. So I'm like, even that's why I kept saying delegate. Like, maybe you got to delegate a little bit more, like more than what you can, but until you get to your space of peace, like I really feel very at peace right now in life, and I feel like everybody deserves it, but it's boundaries. It's like testing all that hard that like we don't want to test, but I'm like, but that's where you get peace. That's where you get happiness. That's where you get, I can go on a walk and turn my brain off and don't have to be on a call, Just keep practicing, friend.
You'll get it. If
Yeah,
I
just
can
keep
hire a
practicing.
nanny, then
Listen, that's
Child.
big.
Because you've been telling
Yeah.
me to get a nanny since the beginning of time.
Y'all ping ponging now.
For-
Give her
I
a
know.
challenge.
Cody done help me, and then you
Oh
now
my
you gotta help
God.
yourself because
Yeah,
you've
here,
been pushing this,
pass back.
telling me. Literally, Cody used to call me and just have like 35, 40-minute conversations with me about me getting help. Just Ashley, just try.
She was talking to
Come on, let's
herself.
call care.com. Like she was on it. Like, here, I got
Yep.
these names. Here's like she was always giving me a name, always giving me a company. Seriously, you've been like really pushing this narrative for a very long time.
By the way, that her nanny is at her house in the morning and my house in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Let's be
And
very
I-
clear here.
I
By
am
any
her
means
nanny.
necessary.
Shout out.
It was
Shout
my
out
nanny
to
that
the
she
village.
done took.
I
in the
did
morning.
take her nanny, but you didn't need
that's
her
fine. It
no more.
really works.
I was just waiting for the twins to go to school.
It totally works. Yes, that we'll take it.
No, but I believe in you. I think that you just have to get out of your own head. Honestly, I really do feel like a lot of stuff is ego driven and we don't even realize that it's our ego. We'll name it as so many different things,
Yep.
but we really just have to step out of that and be like, I need help. It's okay. I can't do it on my own. And also, I'm going to be real with you because, I always take it back to this. When I say it's the end of the day, it's the end of the day. You have to decide what you're okay with losing, right? So are you okay with losing time with your kids or are you okay with losing a business opportunity? But what is more important to you? And that really has to be your driving decision. I tell Chia that because Amir has a play this weekend. He's like, I need to go on Saturday. And I was like, that's fine. If you want to go on Saturday instead of Sunday, that's fine. We're not flying together because I'm going to be there for my daughter. Now, if you don't want to be there, that's between you and her. But guess where I'm going to be? I'm going to be in California at my daughter's play, and then I will fly on Sunday. And it is what it is. And I was like, decide what you want to do. And he got a plane ticket for Saturday. So, I mean, if he's okay with that.
He's okay with it.
But I'm not.
And I think that's also the thing about it too. I've seen that too where with Jared and I, like Jared is extremely unapologetic. And I actually started taking a page out of his book. He's extremely unapologetic about what he needs to do for his life and the progression of how he shows up as a provider and in his professional world. Extremely. Like there's times when I'll be like, so what, you just want to be out till 10 p.m. at night? Like I'm like, you don't care about
You
like
was doing
saying
that?
goodnight to your kids? And he was like, no.
That's Chia.
And I remember I was so turned off. I was like, ugh,
Yep.
that is just ridiculous. How could you even say that out loud? And like how could you just say that out loud? That just sounds so like shallow and like not actually what this family is about. Like I went into this full thing.
It's crazy how we do that, huh?
And then, but then I realized it was like, this man loves his children.
Of course.
That's why he doing what he
he's
doing.
He's an excellent father,
point.
right? But it's twofold though. It's like as his partner, I definitely see the areas in which I need for the preservation of his life and health for him to exercise boundaries. Because baby, we in this together.
Yeah.
We didn't do this separately or else we would have. We're in this together. So here we go. I need you around and I need you to be the best functioning, healthy version of yourself. That's one. But also two, I really do look at it, and it is interesting because he looked at me. He kind of like indirectly projected it as like, well, like I'm a great dad, and I remember feeling like I was like, no one said you weren't, but inside he's internalizing his own guilt, but it doesn't inhibit him from taking action to still do what he needs to do.
Yeah.
And so I had to take a note of that, and I was like, oh, okay, like we might do things a little bit differently, but at the same time, I kind of admire how you are like, look, I gotta go, I gotta do it. And if I allow guilt to slow me down right now or feeling like I'm inadequate in some area over here, like I won't actually get to the goal of what I'm working towards right now. And I need to get to the goal of what I'm
this is
working
what I was
towards.
going to tell you too. Your kids, because
And there's seasons. And there's seasons.
No, because I have
right?
a
Like it
bro.
might just be a crazy season
No,
right
that's
now.
true. It's a
but maybe in
crazy
2 years
season.
it wouldn't be,
But I have a teenager, and so what I've realized too is, first of all, she don't even remember nothing from before she was 7 years
Hello.
old. Any goddamn way. So that's annoying
Lord.
because I think of I'm like, Amira, you don't remember us playing Barbies every day? And she was like, not really.
And you're holding the merit of that like I was
Girl,
an A1
But
mama.
the
I
connection,
can do
she
it by
remembers
myself.
the bond that was
Sure,
created.
that's why we have a bond. She might not remember those specific things. But the point is that had I missed something, it would have been okay. And
Yeah.
even now I look at her like now she's in an era of wanting to be with her friends more than me. So even like that just shows me this is why I got a nanny. This is why I am tired. I have been back and forth to Ohio 15 times this month. I still got to go back next week. Been there like 4 days, been here 4 days. This is the most I've flown back and forth. I told Melanie, I don't know how you do this. I am drained.
Just leave the bag packed.
I am
Not
drained,
open in the
darling.
house.
Girl, I've been leaving luggage there. Like, I
Yep.
guess this is what it is. But I also also have realized too that like Amira, because I've shown up for her so much, right? She has 6 shows, and I'm me being, I want to be the best mom in the world. I'm like, I'm going to all 6. She was like, why would you do that?
Why would you do that?
I have
She said that to me. She was
Thank
like,
you,
why?
Amira.
She was like, why would you do that? She was like, okay, Mom, but I mean, that's dumb. She was like, just come to the first one and the last one, or you even got to do that. Just come to the first or the last. She was like, I know that you. She literally looked at me. Was like, Mom, I know you love me. Yeah, that's crazy.
You don't need to prove yourself.
Yes, but see, again, ego.
Aw.
Ego. It's all ego. And so I think, to your point, that's how Chia is. He's like, I know I'm a good dad.
That part.
I show up for my daughter. I make my kids breakfast every morning. I take my daughter to school every single day, and I show up for my kids. And when I need to go, I'm going
got to go.
Girl.
So wait, how many shows are you going to?
I mean, that's not important.
Ashley,
Your daughter said.
your daughter said.
Your daughter
She might
said.
be different every time.
Oh Lord.
Okay,
Go to the last one because all the kinks going to be worked out.
I'm going to go to the first and maybe the last and the second and the third.
And the second, so 4 of 6. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Wait, can I say one more thing? I feel like this is so important.
Yes.
I also think a lot of times when we have the mom guilt, I feel like it is our internal, like how we think we're supposed to, what motherhood looks like to our kids. That's not what's going on. So I
Yeah.
think just keeping that in mind. Okay, that's
No,
it. That's all I had to say.
good. That's good.
was
I'm
like,
glad
it's
you
important.
spoke.
So I think it's time for our question of the day.
Yeah.
From our listener. What we got?
Whoop, whoop.
Yes, anyone can write us a question in the DMs at the Mamas In Podcast on Instagram or in email form at podcasts@blacklove.com. We love your questions. Yay.
Yes.
Your makeup looks really pretty today.
It does.
And also you got your nail fixed?
I sure did get
Okay.
I got my ghetto nail fixed.
It's cute.
I was not going to Miami with a ghetto nail.
Absolutely.
It was not
Can't
going
be
to happen.
performing
And
with
your
9
baby-
nails.
No, can't
Yeah,
be.
baby hairs look perfect today, Fee. Everyone looks good. Okay,
does
sorry.
look good.
Stay focused.
Okay, here we go. Question of the day. I am also a young mama as I had my girls at 24. I love you all's podcast, and it has helped me help provide me with tons of useful advice as I am new to this motherhood thing. I just wanted to reach out to you to see if you all had any advice to new moms managing everything. Also, am in school full-time and work full-time. How many hours she got in a day?
I did that.
She on
So,
Beyonce time.
LOL. We've been managing, but just how do you manage everything without burning out entirely? I'm an overachiever and will be planning to be done with my bachelor's degree and hoping to embark into either a master's program or pursue my law degree next
Okay.
spring.
Oh, she's but gonna add more things.
She
to her
also said
list?
she had her girls at
like she-
23, right?
I think so.
24.
Like
yeah.
they're twins?
2 multiple?
I mean, she
I had
said
my
girls
girls
and
at
she
four
said
boys.
one
Or she
and
got,
one.
or she got 2 under.
Or she had 2 in 1
under
year.
2, yeah.
What she said, she's
wow.
overachiever.
She should be writing us. Telling
Right.
us
Tell
what
her,
to
how
do.
do you
I
do it,
know.
sis?
I'm like, I don't
Youth.
know, friend.
I wonder if
how.
she has
Yeah,
what
right?
kind of
24?
support she has, because I was in school full time and working full time when I
How
had
do
a
you?
mirror.
How are you in school full-time and working full-time?
you
How does
work
that
from
work?
nine
Yeah,
to-
I'm trying to understand.
Well, full time is a certain amount of classes and or hours. So
Yeah.
when you're in college, if you have to take 4 classes is full time. That means you're doing like how many hours is it? I don't remember. That was so many years ago. But let's just say, put a hint below 30 hours, right? So you go to work 9 to 5, and then you go to school after that. What you mean?
But
You
it
go
also
to
doesn't
school.
have to be 9 to 5. It could just be 40-hour
Right,
work
but
weeks.
also like I would have one class. Sometimes I would have one class. It was Monday, Wednesday. Then I would have 2
Yeah.
classes on Tuesday.
And this
like,
is in person?
yeah,
Yeah,
we
it's
just
only
go by
24. It might not be.
For us, I think it was like 14 units is
Right.
part-time. This many units. Is it
Online.
like that?
I don't remember. I just remember we did what are they called? Quarters. Like so, it was like you did different classes 4
Yeah.
times a year or whatever.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, you go to school 4 times. A lot of people do. You know, it's crazy. There would be
night classes, too.
There
I
would be
forgot
my
about
friend
that.
was in nursing school, and I remember I went to her nursing school graduation, and there was a mother up there, and she was like, she worked full time and went to nursing. And nursing school is like that is a full time job.
Yeah.
And she went to
hard.
nursing school full time, graduated, got her nursing degree, and I was like, girl, you're fine. Like every time somebody's doing something harder than me, I'm like, it's fine. I can do it. It's okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I think the answer to old girl's question is boundaries and routine.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just think,
Forgive me, young girls.
friend,
questions.
we don't have your name. I don't think we got her name.
Friend.
But thank you for your question, and you are doing a lot, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you're doing great. You're doing the best that you
doing
can.
it and doing it and doing it well. I'm always come with the little music. Sorry.
I love this. That was
But
cute.
it sounds like you're doing the best that you can, and as long as you are, that's really all you can do.
Yeah, and if you ever start to feel, she said, how do you prevent burnout? Boundaries.
Yeah.
Just know that when you start to feel overwhelmed, maybe you need to take one less class because there is not an exact date that you have to graduate. So don't put unnecessary pressure on yourself.
I think the time.
Yeah.
I think this timeline, like she's like, and I have this, and then I want to get my bachelor's, and I want to get my master's. Baby, life is long, God willing, and you have time to reinvent and go for your goals and go for your dreams at the pace you need to. It doesn't all have to get done this and next year.
Yeah.
And I will say this, when your children are small, there is a sacred time to be there with them.
Yeah.
At that, you just had your kids, like you're 24, like it will fly, and you guys are growing together. So I think just my advice would be like, the time in the very beginning when the kids are first born, it flies so quickly, they change so fast, and enjoy that, and just know that it's actually going to be really cool if your children see you achieving your dreams as you guys grow together.
Yeah, because you know what?
That's,
I don't know where she is with her journey and how old her kids are, but I would definitely say before you go to law school, which can be very demanding, maybe wait until your kids go to school, and then y'all could be in school together. Like, you know what I mean?
I feel like what I would do if I was her, I would write down all the things I have to do, like categorize it, put it into pillars, and then what I typically do is we'll go to my calendar, and I'm like, these are the 2 days that I want to turn my brain off or do something fun with the kids. Everything else has to fit in those other slots until 5 p.m. I check out. So I'm like, literally by the hour, by the day, I have to plan so that I can get my me time and my peace time, you know?
I like that.
But, and even when I don't have the kids though, I'm working until like 9 p.m. I just go ham.
Girl, 1 o'clock in the morning.
I was like, this is my opportunity to get ahead.
9 p.m. sounds cute.
Love that for you.
You know what I did want to tell you, Cody, though? There has been so many studies that say 10 to 15 minutes of uninterrupted time with your child is more than enough.
I agree.
So that's all you got to do, girl. Okay? Just clock out, take one, go place, and that's a long time.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a long time to parent.
All right. Well, thank you for your question, sis. And that is a wrap for today.
Oh, and it's normal to Girl, I feel like I have mastered my life. Well, hopefully not all the way. But it's normal to feel uncomfortable as you are practicing putting in boundaries and all of that. I think a lot of times people, they put in boundaries, they try to change things and like, too uncomfortable, I want to go back. But it's like, that's normal.
Growth.
Discomfort is actually a good sign. If you're not uncomfortable, then that's when I feel like you're not growing.
But
On
now
that
look.
note, if y'all have questions for the Mama's Den, you heard it, podcasts with an S at blacklove.com, or hit us in the DMs at the Mama's Den podcast on Instagram, okay? If you are on YouTube, search the Mama's Den, and you can see our newest episode every Tuesday, or go on ahead and watch all the ones you ain't seen yet, okay? And then hit us up on social. Y'all heard that tag already. And then make sure you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, among others, and leave us reviews and things, okay?
Okay.
and don't have mom guilt.
Oh, wait, I have one more thing to say.
Goodbye. That's the last thing. Goodbye. Bye.
I told her to do it.
She's like, okay, what are these delays?
I told her to do it.
I did.
Do my bidding.
High five me. It was funny.